It's a little embarrassing to admit this, but when I was 15 years old, I made the age-old YouTube search I know y'all probably have too.
How to get abs in 5 minutes.
And bro, I truly bought into this routine. Did it for around 3 months consistently, but to my surprise, I got no abs, no definition, no nothing. If that sounds like you and you're in the same boat I was and you really want to get abs but just feel stuck and lost, in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the real two-step framework that actually got me visible abs. And I'm going to also explain why every video you've watched before this was either lying to you or just flat out didn't know what they were talking about. Because here's the thing. I was in your shoes. I would sit on my bedroom floor at 15 years old, genuinely believing I was about to get abs in 5 minutes. 30 Russian twists, 3 sets of 1 minute planks, a billion sit ups, and all I got in the end was some sweat on my forehead and a shattered hope. And the worst part, I kept going for months on end thinking this would be the solution, despite my life looking like this. I would eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Chipotle, and Jersey Mike's pretty much every single day. We were in that little pandemic, so I was playing Fortnite all day doing jack. And then finally, I'd roll around on my floor doing my little 5 minute routine like it was going to do something. 3 months later, absolutely nothing. And I was genuinely so confused because the dude in the video told me all I needed to do was his little circuit. I just felt like I was doing everything right and getting robbed of my deserved results. Fast forward to now though, I actually have visible abs and I can promise you I haven't done one of those circuits in years. So let me tell you what actually works and more importantly, why those videos you watched were never going to get you there. Number one, yes, abs are made in the kitchen, kind of. If you're not below 15% body fat, your abs are not going to show the way you want. End of story, bar none. Doesn't matter how hard you train them. Here's the thing people get confused on. Everybody already has abs. The same way everybody has quads, everybody has biceps. The problem is that for most people, there's a layer of fat sitting over them that makes them completely invisible. When I was eating all that garbage I mentioned, I was giving myself zero chance of ever seeing my abs. And for example, this is me after 2 whole years of actually training my abs and just training overall. As you can see, my abs are still virtually non-existent because I'm sitting at around 18-20% body fat. 2 years of work and you'd have no clue if you looked at me. That's how much body fat matters. To even have a shot at seeing your abs, you need to get below 15%, and to see them the way most actually want, you need to be in that 10 to 12% range. Less than 3 months later after that picture I showed you, here's what I looked like. My abs hadn't grown significantly, it was that all the body fat had disappeared. So here's the simplified version of how to get you there. And it's honestly almost all you need to know about dieting. Find your maintenance calories using the link I have in the description, run a 300 to 500 calorie deficit, train hard, hit 10,000 steps a day, and eat whole foods 85+% of the time. Do that consistently and the fat comes off. That's literally it. But here's where it gets a little bit interesting because some of you are already lean enough, below 15% body fat, and you're still not seeing the abs you want. And that leads perfectly into the second step. Number 2. Abs are still a muscle, and you have to train them like one. Think about this. Let's say someone who has never trained a day in their life gets absolutely shredded, diets all the way down to 12% body fat, but they've never bench pressed, they've never done a chest fly, never touched a weight at all for their whole chest. Do you think they would have a full developed look on their chest? No, obviously not. Your abs are the exact same thing. They're a muscle. They respond to the same principles as every other part of your body. And you cannot eat your way to having well-developed abs if there's nothing there to show. Look at me before I started lifting. I was sitting around 15% body fat here, which is pretty close to where you need to be, but there is zero ab definition at all. That's because there's zero muscle. Nothing there to show, even if the fat was completely gone. So here's what you actually need to do to build your abs. And I want you to notice how simple this is compared to what you've been sold. Hanging leg raises or King's chair leg raises once per week, cable ab crunches once per week, push to failure for 2, max 3 sets somewhere in that 8 to 15 rep range, and do more than you did last week. That's it. That is the entire ab program. 2 exercises, 1 time per week, and progressive overload. This is the same principle that builds every other muscle in your body, and your abs are not special. They're not some mysterious muscle that requires 47 different movements in a 20-minute circuit. They just need mechanical tension, progressive overload, and time, just like everything else. When you're doing cable crunches or leg raises, you should feel your abs actually contracting hard at the peak of the movement. Then when you can't get another clean rep, you're done. Next week, try and get 1 more rep up until you get to 15. Then once you get there, add a little weight and repeat the process. That's progressive overload in the nutshell, and that's how muscle gets built. Unfortunately, here's what actually happened with those YouTube videos that sold you the exact opposite of what I just gave you. Those guys weren't trying to give you abs, they were trying to get clicks. How to get abs is the single biggest entry point into fitness, and it's what every 15-year-old or really anybody types into the search bar when they first get curious about working out. Those people are new, they're impressionable, and they're very, very easy to sell. So instead of giving you the actual answer, which is pretty simple and kind of boring, they tried to reinvent the wheel. They give you flashy circuits that look new, they feel brutal, and they honestly make for a great thumbnail. What they actually sold you was a glorified calorie burning workout that abandoned every single principle of hypertrophy and muscle building that we know. They sold you a workout, and my goal with this video is to give you a solution. Diet down below 15% body fat, build your abs like you would any other muscle. That's genuinely it. I was the kid on the floor doing Russian twists going absolutely nowhere, and I don't want that to be you for any longer than it has to be. If this is the kind of content you want more of, straight, simple fitness answers instead of the usual nonsense, subscribe and follow me on Instagram for more. If you have a similar story with a goofy ab routine you found on YouTube, drop a comment below telling me what happened. Y'all have a great rest of your day and week. God bless.